Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Make sure you use the promo code FANRUN to take advantage of their welcome bonus and so they know that we sent you. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-8899-789. Must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee to bet.
The buzzer has sounded. We are headed to overtime with William Pattison on Fox Sports Knoxville. This is Fan Run Radio.
And here we go live from the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios. It's overtime, presented by VIP Play on a Monday. Joining you is Tyler Barbaras, Max Pennell, and myself, William Pattison. We appreciate you hanging out with us to start your week, and we got plenty to cover over the next 2 hours, including Shedeur Sanders. Perfect timing, a really nice debut from him on Friday. We'll break down what was his first opportunity in the NFL. Before that, we'll talk about the AP Top 25 that were released earlier today. We'll tell you the teams that we believe are too high, too low, missed the cut, should have made the cut. We'll dive into all of that a little bit later on. But we'll begin today with our first things first topic, and that is Tennessee Camp Weekend Recap. And there was a ton to cover from this past weekend. A little bit of trouble from a wide receiver, some trouble from the quarterback room overall on Saturday, and a lot of takeaways from the action inside Neyland Stadium, as on Saturday, Tennessee football went inside the confines of Neyland to get a better look at this year's team through a scrimmage format. And while the scrimmage took place behind closed doors, there's been plenty of information that has slipped through the cracks. And today I will share what I have been told, what I know, and also how that applies to this Tennessee football team as we move on. So we'll begin with the offensive notes. The quarterback performances were varied. Aguilar looked fine, but suffered a pick six on one of his throws. Jake Merklinger struggled with his accuracy and missed on a handful of throws, kind of continuing what was a tough week last week of practice for him in terms of his accuracy. George McIntyre was good for his standards, being a freshman quarterback, a guy that's just a couple of weeks removed from being at high school graduation. And he's built a lot of momentum in his terms and his standards through camp. It's not like he's going to be a starter, but for George McIntyre, what he did, he was solid. But none of the quarterbacks jumped off the page. Joey Aguilar was probably the winner of the day per se. I guess if you had to put it in the terms of, what the quarterbacks had to gain going into it, I guess it would have been McIntyre. But overall, Joey Aguilar probably was the best guy available on Saturday. Now, the wide receiver room was thin, and that's an issue as we've continued to document over the last couple of weeks. Mike Matthews was in and out. Braylon Staley was in and out. Chris Brazzell has not been available until today in practice, and he got into some trouble over the weekend. We'll talk about that. But the wide receiver room we knew was going to be an issue. We knew was going to be a question mark heading into the year, and health has now been an extra portion of that receiver room. And like the freshmen were able to play. Travis Smith Jr., a guy that has looked good so far in training camp. Rodarius Jackson, Joakim Dotson. This is a group that I think has some star power growing in terms of freshmen, but in terms of established guys, you don't have many options there. The running back room looks strong. Guys like Deshaun Bishop and Peyton Lewis and Star Thomas, all those guys looked impressive. They looked the part, and we know Josh Heupel likes to run a 3 running back system. All these guys like to get involved, and I think that was applicable once again on Saturday, to where you feel pretty comfortable with any of those guys on day one. The offensive line looked good as well for their own standards, as David Sanders is a guy that is trying to go through the kinks and trying to work into being a SEC level player, and you're trying to figure out what your center combination is going to be. Will William Satterwhite start at center to where you can have Sam Pendleton at the other guard, or do you have to move Pendleton to that center position and have to find another guard? We're figuring those questions out. I don't have an answer on that right now, but the offensive line for the most part looks solid. Now, the defensive side of the ball, they won the day. The defense was a stronger unit from top to bottom, and they were the winners on Saturday. Colton Hood, the transfer from Colorado, continues to impress. This is a guy that was a part of that transfer portal class for Tennessee, and he's a playmaker. Had a couple of interceptions last year for the Buffs. Had one that he was able to take back for about 30, 45 yards. That's a playmaker. And Colton Hood has impressed so far in camp. He was a part of that video where that blurred gate happened. He was the one that made the interception in that alleged blurred quarterback video. It ended up being Miles Kitzelman, but Hood's been great. The defense was really solid, and they won the day. And a lot of people are freaking out saying, oh, well, if the defense was able to win, that means our offense isn't that good. And talking around the office today, a couple of people pulled back up some notes from prior years. And in 2022, the defense was the one that won the day in the first scrimmage. And we know how good that 2022 offense was. So let's pump the brakes a little bit on that. But the big story here is the quarterback situation. And, we've been following this very closely over the last couple of weeks. Every day it seems like a new revelation, or we're watching these on-air route numbers. Who was the most accurate throwing to air, basically, trying to connect with receivers. And Saturday, I feel like we have our decision made at quarterback. From talking to people over the weekend, I can pretty much confirm that Joey Aguilar will be the starting quarterback for Tennessee against Syracuse on August 31st in Atlanta. He's got the most experience. He is maybe not as polished as you would like him to be, especially in the connection with the other receivers. But right now, he's established himself as a leader in the clubhouse. And from I have been told, George McIntyre is battling for that second quarterback position. I've been told Jake Merklinger is closer to McIntyre than he is to Aguilar. So I would expect Joey Aguilar to be your starting quarterback right now. If I had to put my crystal ball prediction in, it would be Joey. And now, even though that is not public knowledge, and Josh Heupel hasn't come out and said it, as Merklinger took some first-team reps today, the consensus I've gotten over the last couple of days has been Joey will be the guy. And I think that is good because you, at least right now, know who you're going into that first game with, but it also kind of revs up the intensity for Merklinger and McIntyre. This is their opportunity to be that next man up. If Aguilar does end up starting the season, you've got to make sure McIntyre and Merklinger are ready as well. And who knows? If Aguilar lays an egg, then we got a quarterback competition once again, and it's next guy up. So we'll welcome in the rest of the crew here. Max, beginning with you, what do you make of the quarterback situation? What do you make of these notes? What do you make of the revelation I just gave? And, kind of your takeaways from the weekend, at least from that scrimmage.
Yeah, I think you brought up a good point in drawing the parallels to 2022, because I know as a student, I was at the orange and white game specifically that year, and I saw Hendon Hooker and Joe Milton both really struggle with the football, turn the ball over a lot. I believe Hendon Hooker threw pick 6 in that game. And my takeaway was, man, I was low on Milton when he came to town. Obviously, Hendon Hooker was kind of an unknown, and I don't think either of these guys have looked like the guy that could win in the SEC. And obviously we know how that turned out. Hendon Hooker, was on a path to being in New York for the Heisman, and Joe Milton was a capable starter here at Tennessee. So I think people, especially when there's not real football going on, they're going to draw conclusions one way or the other. Oh, the defense is going to be awesome because they did well in a scrimmage, or the offense, man, it's going to be a long year because we can't, move the ball in a scrimmage. So I think you got to, take everything with a grain of salt to a degree. To hear that the offensive line had made some strides, it sounded like, was good to hear. I think that was a position group last year that ended up being better towards the end of the year, but it took them a while to find their footing. Lance Hurd, specifically, some of these guys. Hopefully, there's not as much of a learning curve with a Sanders or a Pendleton, guys that are new to the system. You hope that this is an example of, okay, they got their feet under them. They can go out there and play really well from the jump as opposed to taking a few weeks to get up to, because you don't have that luxury this year with the way the schedule is. You got Georgia week 3, Syracuse week 1 isn't a gimme. So you need those guys playing well from the start, especially if you're not confident in your quarterback. Hearing you say Aguilar, it sounds like he's kind of in pole position to be the starter. Not surprising to me. I mean, I think that was kind of the conclusion we all drew when, the notification popped up on our phones back in March that Aguilar was coming to Tennessee. Everyone kind of penciled him in as the starter. I think it's good for Merklinger that Josh Heupel isn't just treating him like QB2, because there's a decent chance you'll need him this season, and you don't want it. Okay, he got 25% of the reps in camp because it was Aguilar's job all the way. I think he knows that it might not be 12 weeks of Joey Aguilar, and that's probably why he's pushed Merklinger and had him push Aguilar subsequently. So very interesting. Just means we're getting closer to kickoff, and all that stuff is more exciting when you turn the calendar to August, and now we're almost at mid-August.
Yeah. Tyler, welcoming you in.
Thank you.
What do you make of the quarterback situation?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like both quarterbacks in this QB1 battle have made strides, which is obviously what you look for. But last week I was kind of talking about how I want to see the offensive line take a stride first, because I think your quarterback success is going to stem from how good your offensive line is, how good they are in pass protection. And what your notes and what I've seen, it did look like the offensive line had a good day. I mean, we saw a lot of these running backs too really impress, break off a couple nice runs. That comes from the offensive line and battling down in the trenches. So it does make me feel a little bit better seeing and knowing that this offensive line is going in the right direction. As for the quarterback battle, I mean, I just want the guy that'll be the most prepared come week 1. If there's a doubt that, Heupel has with Aguilar's talent, but if he doesn't think Merck is ready for, the SEC starting quarterback role, then I'd be more comfortable with Joey, because you want the guy that is most ready and seasoned to be in that starting role week 1. And yeah, Joey threw a pick 6, but that could also just be a really good play by the defensive back. You know what I mean? We never really know because it wasn't open to the public, so we just have to take with a grain of salt. But with Joey, it does seem like he's kind of in this lead based off what you said. He has a little bit more talent than Merklinger has. And it seems like they kind of like his legs too, his ability to get out the pocket, to move. It does seem like every Tennessee quarterback for the past 3-4 seasons, they have that ability to run. And that's why it makes, the spread offense so much more dynamic, because when you have a quarterback that can just pull the ball in a read option, it gives you just another element of an offense that, other teams aren't looking for. So it's nice to know that, Joey is kind of settling in here. However, I want to see these two, and Merklinger and Aguilar, continue to compete, because you're only going to get better by competing. And that's what these boys have been doing all summer long. So it is nice to see that there's a little friendly competition there, but there's no doubt in my mind that Heupel isn't going to throw the quarterback that he believes will win us the most games out there week 1. But like what Max said, I mean, maybe you don't expect Joey to, be your quarterback for the full 12 weeks of the season. So that's why I like this competition still, being in play, coming down to the wire here, as we're only 2.5-3 weeks away from opening kickoff. It's nice to see that, Merck is still competing, because you saw it in Alabama last year. Nico came out for a drive and then Gaston Moore threw an interception. If Joey, gets knocked up and he can't play in the second half of a game because he has a contusion or a concussion or something that won't keep him out for that long, but you can throw in Merklinger, who has been busting his ass off all off season, getting reps with the first team. It does make me feel a little bit more comfortable that you have two guys that can play if you need them to. But that's my quarterback take, and the running backs look really good too. I'm really excited to see what Star Thomas can do. Big expectations for the Duke transfer.
Now, the defense, as I said earlier, won the day on Saturday. And we've seen this in years past. The defense, traditionally the stronger unit, at least the more established unit the last couple of seasons, was impressive once again on Saturday. And is this a positive or a negative in your eyes? And I say this is a positive because one of the things that you already knew about this team heading into the year was that the defense should be pretty good. You're coming off a year where you were top 10 defensively in defensive scoring. You need that group to be as good or near that level this year when you've got a new quarterback and a lot of new pieces offensively and a lot of unknowns at wide receiver. I'm glad the defense won the day on Saturday because if they didn't, we'd have a bigger problem on our hands. How the hell is a transfer quarterback or, either two of Merklinger or McIntyre coming in and having success against a defense that was one of the top in college football last year? I think that would have been a bigger problem. So the defense winning the day on Saturday is a big positive because you know that you're going to still have a really good unit. And by the way, you're not even fully healthy. Jeremiah McCoy was not playing in that scrimmage on Saturday. So I think it's a big thing. The Tennessee's defense was strong. You know what you have on the defensive line. There are a ton of new pieces as well that have been kind of stashed over the last couple of years and waiting behind an Omari Thomas and an Omar Norman-Lott and James Pierce. Now, these guys are getting their opportunity to fill in and have big-time roles. The linebackers are very established. The secondary, you have a couple of questions maybe here and there about some certain position battles. But overall, it's a really big thing and a good thing that Tennessee's defense was the winner on Saturday because I would hope a top 10 level defense from last season would be able to have some of that same push against an offense that's trying to figure everything out right now a couple of weeks before the season. I don't think it's a bad thing that the defense won. Max, what do you make of it?
No, I don't think it's negative. I mean, like you said, that's what the side of the ball you're most confident in. I would be more worried if it was, oh man, the defense really struggled because we know the offense is going to have its limitations. Does that mean the team will necessarily be bad because of it? No, we saw the team last year have offensive limitations and get to 10 wins. So the fact that the side of the ball you're confident in, this at least cements your reasoning that, okay, the defense can be really good. That backed that up, what they did on Saturday. You'd rather see that to me than, yeah, you'd love to see the offense have a little more back and forth. But if we came away, man, the offense, they were just getting whatever they wanted and, the receiving core isn't great. We know that. The quarterback position's iffy. I think you'd be a little more, man, is this defense, has it lost a step? Or, the losses of an Omari Thomas, Norman Lott, et cetera, is that really going to take its toll this year? So I agree with you. I think it's a net positive that the defense showed up in the way that it did.
Yeah, and I think it's something that, people may read and kind of freak out about. But, again, it's a positive. And that defense won in 2022 in that scrimmage. So we know how good that 2022 offense was. So don't freak out about it. Obviously, the quarterback play needs to be improved. The wide receiver connection needs to be improved. But those are things that you have to work out. At least you know that the defense ball is strong. Now, other bad wide receiver news from the weekend happens to be a traffic report. And this is Adam Sparks of the Knox News Sentinel reporting this. Tennessee wide receiver Chris Brazzell was arrested on August 8th on charges of driving with a suspended license and speeding, according to a Knoxville police report obtained by Knox News. He is scheduled to appear in court on August 20th. And Brazzell, at 21, is UT's top receiver returning from last year's team. He had 29 receptions for 333 yards and 2 touchdowns. His biggest moment was that big-time touchdown against Alabama in the back of the end zone. But Brazzell has been a guy that we've kind of been question marking over the last couple of weeks. He has not been available in practice. Now, he was available today, but he has had an injury that has not been disclosed. And then leading up into the scrimmage, you hear this come out, and you're like, okay, what the hell is this guy up to? So he was driving at 60 miles per hour in a 35-mile-per-hour zone on the Henley Street Bridge in downtown Knoxville. UTPD pulls him over. He didn't have his license on him. It was suspended. So now he's got to deal with those repercussions. It's nothing serious per se. I mean, I wouldn't probably go 25 over the speed limit. That's a little Georgia-esque. But it's a little bit concerning that your top receiver in that wide receiver room, that is young, a young room. You're kind of the leader of that group. I'm not saying there's a leadership issue, but when you're the oldest guy in there and you're the best returning player from last year, you kind of set a standard a little bit. And I know the injury he's had might be, precautionary or serious, and that's why he sat out, but it's not a good look to be missing practice. And then, Friday night, you're going 25 over in a 35. It's just not a great look for some of these younger guys that are looking up to a Chris Brazzell. And while it's not that big of a deal, it's a talking point today. We won't talk about it again tomorrow. It's not a great thing to come out that your leading wide receiver is setting that kind of example.
Yeah, in Athens, I think they just call this Monday. That's just a standard Monday talking point down there. Yeah, I mean, it's 16 to 35. Yeah, don't do that. I think anyone knows that. He's a college kid. People in college are stupid. They make dumb mistakes. Luckily, nobody was injured. Hopefully, he learns his lesson. If you have a suspended license, don't drive. It's not hard. Not shocked it was a Dodge Charger. I feel like every Division I college football player just gets granted a Dodge Charger when they get on campus, or at least if they get a certain amount of playing time. But yeah, it's a non-issue. The thing for me is less about the incident. It's more just, Brazzell. I doubt this affects his, game status or anything. But you just, with this receiving room, we can't have anyone, especially a guy that's as entrenched as him, missing any time, or you don't want something like this to happen again, and then he's suspended for a game. Whatever may happen, hopefully this nips it in the bud, because you just don't have the depth of that position to afford guys missing time for things that aren't injury.
Yeah, I agree. Tyler, what do you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, you need Brazzell, and every Tennessee fan knows that. It is frustrating, though, from a fan's perspective like myself, to just see, not positive Tennessee Vol players in the headlines. It seems like every headline that comes out surrounding this team over the course of, the past 5-6 months has been negative. Would like to break that trend as soon as possible, please. But hopefully we'll get Brazzell week 1, and everything will be hopefully forgotten about and put to rest and all that. But yeah, it's not good, being a fan of this team that just has had a pretty weird summer, to say the least.
Well, I wouldn't compare this with like the Boo Carter situation or Nico Maliava. Those were, 2 or 3 week dilemmas. I think this is more just a little bit of a slap on the wrist type of deal, or, can't be doing that. And I'm not trying to go too in depth to it. I'm just saying, you're the number 1 wide receiver in a very thin room with a lot of young guys. I mean, it's very well possible you could have all 3 of your freshman wide receivers playing at some point this season, because you just don't have that much depth. And I'm not saying that they're going to go see Chris Brazzell do that and say, oh, well, if he can do it, I'm going to hop in my car.
65.
yeah, I'm going to one-up him. I'm not saying that's going to happen. But again, it just sets the example of you're the veteran in the locker room. You're the guy that's the leader. You're the guy they look up to. Missing practice for a while due to injury is all good. But, you got to make sure you're making the right decisions off the field as well, especially when you're not being able to be active in practice. So not that big of a deal. It's a talking point. It's a Monday. We got a couple weeks before the season. We had to talk about it. But when we come back, we'll break down the AP Top 25 as Tennessee was named a team in the top 25. It might not be that high, but we'll break down the spots and also take a look at the rest of the college football landscape and where other teams landed. Stay right here. It's Overtime, presented by VIP Play on Fan Run Radio.
For the fans, by the fans. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Hello, is Tina there?
Who's this?
Yeah, this is Vince from the hit reality show Wives Don't Tell. Tina applied for our show to confess that her husband won't go to the doctor to get his erectile dysfunction checked. She said she's ready for a guy that can bring the heat.
All right, what the is going on? You know you're talking to her husband right now? Tina!
Well, she wrote the application that her man's performance is questionable. She's basically married to a coffee table. She also said, we live within driving distance to Men's Pro Knoxville, but he's too scared to get a blood test.
Oh my, she is done. She is so done.
Gotcha, Mike. It's Nephew Tommy. Ain't no reality show. It's a prank. Men's Pro Knoxville is the real deal, fellas. Local experts, test results in minutes. Call 865-544-8220 or hit men'sproKnoxville.com before your lady books a new co-star. Men's Pro Knoxville, making it happen.
Got a flat tire? Strange noise under the hood? Don't stress. Roll into Matlock Tire and Auto Service. From oil changes and brake repairs to brand new tires, Matlock's certified techs do it all. Fast, friendly, and fair priced, Matlock is the home of the price match guarantee. Bring in any competitor's ad and Matlock will match the exact same tire for the exact same price. Matlock Tire and Auto Service. 5 locations in East Tennessee. Visit MatlockTireService.com to find the location nearest you and schedule your appointment.
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Make sure you use the promo code FANRUN to take advantage of their welcome bonus and so they know that we sent you. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-8899-789. Must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee to bet.
Are you looking for a treat that will knock it out of the park at the next watch party? Just like your favorite baseball team, Crumble brings the best lineup week to week with an expanded roster that includes key lime pie, strawberry cake, or my personal favorite, Monster featuring M&M candies. Let Crumble treat you to the best cookies in the game. Download the Crumble app and start earning rewards. You can even vote monthly on what flavors you would like to see at any store of your choice. Warmer weather is here, so get to the ballpark, but don't miss the cookies.
Ready to launch your career? Axle Logistics is a leading third-party logistics company where excellence is an energy. With an award-winning culture, Axle proves that positive outcomes come from a positive environment and a work hard, play hard mentality. At Axle, the drive for success is infectious. And with an uncapped commission structure, hard work isn't just noticed, it's rewarded. For those with big goals and even bigger dreams, Axle Logistics is the place to start your career.
When it's past high noon, it's time for a vodka soda made with a vodka you've actually heard of. I'm talking White Claw vodka soda made with White Claw premium vodka. JB Smooth only drinks vodka soda made with the world's smoothest vodka.
And you can too. Pick you up a bottle of the triple wave filtered vodka that's been distilled 5 times. White Claw premium vodka comes in 4 flavors. Black cherry, mango, pineapple, and just vodka. You haven't had vodka like this. No one has. White Claw premium vodka. Please drink responsibly.
All right, back here on Overtime. We appreciate you listening along with us, whether it be on the free Fan Run Radio app, 105.7 FM or 1340 AM on the local dial in K-Town, or on the X/YouTube live stream. Have your listening or watching, we do appreciate your time. A reminder for all the Tennessee fans out there, if you want to bet right now on any game in the regular season, whether it be Syracuse or all the way to Vanderbilt, the only betting service that you can bet on every single Tennessee regular season game is VIP Play. Use the code FANRUN, that's FANRUN in all caps, to claim $100 in bonus bets when you make a deposit of $5 and bet $5. You'll get $100 instantly in bonus bets. You can go bet on any Tennessee game, any Tennessee spread. Get some good value right now. As we are about to break down these AP top 25 teams, maybe you think the lines are going to move in Tennessee's favor. They're going to move up the ranks. Take them right now on VIP Play. Gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 years or older and located in Tennessee to bet. All right, let's talk about the AP Top 25 that released today. Texas is number one in the AP preseason college football poll for the first time in school history as Arch Manning and the Longhorns try to follow up consecutive playoff semifinal appearances with a national title. The Longhorns received 25 first-place votes and 1,552 points in the rankings released Monday to edge past number 2 Penn State and the closest preseason vote since 1998. The Nittany Lions have their best preseason ranking since they started number 1 in 1997. Penn State received 23 first-place votes and totaled 1,547 points. Just a 5-point difference between number 1 and number 2. Penn State, the highest they've been ranked under James Franklin heading into the season, and since 1997 as well. Shows how good this team is. We'll begin with, does Tennessee deserve to be a top 25 team? Do they deserve to be at number 24? I think Tennessee is firmly a top 25 team. I had them at 23 in my rankings, and I know 24 doesn't look as sexy for some reason as 23. Like 24, you kind of feel like you're up against the cusp of possibly being eliminated. Like 24 and 25, kind of ugly. But like 23, just visually, you're like, oh, okay.
I got a comp for you.
What?
To me, it's like when, whether you're in the bracket or it's bracketology or something, it's like being a 5 seed or a 4 seed. 4 seed just feels like, okay, like we're going to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Like we got 5 seeds. Like, man, we might lose round 1. Like, even though it's just a difference in 1 seed, it just perception wise is different.
Yeah. A good analogy there. And look, Tennessee's defense, I think, is going to be very good once again. And just based off that, I believe they should be a top 25 team. Like Iowa every year, people yell and scream Iowa should be ranked because they have a good defense, but their offense is terrible. I think Tennessee's offense, at least what you have in the running back room and the offensive line, I think would be better than anything Iowa's had in years past. So I'm completely comfortable with having Tennessee top 25. I am at 23. I don't necessarily agree with having them below a Texas Tech, which I think is a little bit more of an NIL evaluation, having them higher. I do like they've got a much better quarterback in Baron Morton and a really good wide receiver in C.J. Douglas and some really strong linebackers like a Chris Rodriguez. But top to bottom defensively, they're not as strong as Tennessee, and I don't think they have the better unit than Tennessee out of the two teams. So I would have had them at 23 still. That's where I had them in my rankings. But do you believe Tennessee deserved to be at 24 and in the top 25 max?
Yeah, I'm glad to see Tennessee in the top 25. I do think coming in now, preseason polls are preseason polls. They're just talking points, really. My only problem with preseason polls is until we get the college football playoff, and even a little bit, I think, on the committee, they give like this baseline where then if you're not in the top 25, it's a lot harder, I feel like, to get up to earn respect. Like last year, I feel like it took an Indiana and BYU longer to get in the top 10, probably because they came in, even though it's not the college football playoff, but the AP poll, they were very low. They were not in the preseason top 25. So I just feel like the committee was not watching that team because they weren't in a ranked game. They didn't see a number next to their name probably till later in the season. So they do have a little bit of effect. I think kind of a secondary effect. Like it's kind of a unintended consequence of the preseason poll. But anyways, to Tennessee's point, yeah, I'm glad they're in the top 25. I think also with this team, you look at the start of the year, week 3 will decide where this, you win week 3 against Georgia, you're a top 10 team. You lose, yeah, you might not be in the top 25. But I think that's kind of the game you got to circle on your calendar that says, okay, if we're 24, not going to be able to do a whole lot to move up from that, and then you beat Georgia, it kind of throws out that whole preseason ranking out of the window. So I'm glad they're in it, just for the sole fact that I want that Georgia game to be a ranked matchup, and I think it ensures that it will be a ranked matchup as long as you get by Syracuse. To me, 24, I mean, we can nitpick. There's a few teams ahead of them I think Tennessee is better than, but I'm not going to, go running into town with a pitchfork over being ranked 24th instead of 21st or whatever. I think they're in that 20 to 25 range. I'd probably have them closer to 20 personally.
Tyler?
Yeah, I think 24 is fair. I was going off of William Patterson's rankings for a second, but I think 24 is very, very fair. I'm probably the one that's lowest on Tennessee out of us three, so this is probably where I would have them. But it does now have that risk where if you somehow were to lose to Syracuse week 1, you'd be knocked out of that top 25. Even if you win 70-3 the week after that, you're probably still not a top 25 team unless you see one of these other teams in the back end also at 1-1 with a loss that's worse than Syracuse. But I think that Georgia game is going to be honestly a massive dictator of where this Tennessee team will be ranked and if they're ranked at all. If they start off the season 2-0 and they fall to Georgia, but they don't get their, butts beat. Like if it's a closer game, they cover that 7.5 point spread. It's a little bit closer. Then I could see the committee kind of standing with Tennessee as like, all right, this is a very, very solid team. They took the 5th best team in college football down to the wire. We're gonna keep them in that top 25. So I think if you're still ranked after Georgia, if you were to lose and fall to 2-1, you could still stay a top 25 team for the next couple of weeks because the schedule after Georgia, you get to SEC play, but it is a little bit easier. I mean, you have Mississippi State, Arkansas. Those are all games that you should win. So I do expect this Tennessee team to be in the top 25 for a majority of the season, if not for the whole duration of the season. But I'm now a little bit more worried about week 1. I'm not worried that we're gonna lose to Syracuse, but it does pose the threat that if you do, or if it's a nail-biter game that you just squeak out by a game-winning field goal or something like that, the committee might not view Tennessee as high as, top 25 team like they previously did. It's one of those weird, like, unwritten rules that I feel like no one talks about in college football, where certain teams are viewed in a much different light than other teams, but they're at like the same playing level, like Tennessee and Texas Tech, right? Like if Tennessee were to lose a game to a team that they shouldn't, if Texas Tech were to lose a game that they shouldn't, Texas Tech would probably be catching the majority of the heat from that because they're not an SEC team. So being an SEC team does help, but overall 24, I think, is where I would have them. But I definitely am scared about dropping out of there at some point this season. But with the way that the schedule is kind of formatted after Georgia, confident that this will be a top 25 team for a majority of the regular season.
One thing on VIP play that I've been looking at, and especially keeping in mind today's AP Top 25 poll, Oklahoma at number 18, Tennessee at number 24. On VIP play right now, Tennessee minus 177 to win outright, minus 110 at minus 3.5 to win the game. Should Tennessee have been over Oklahoma if right now Vegas and VIP play thinks that Tennessee's a better team? Is Oklahoma a better team than Tennessee right now?
Well, I think you got to count about 3 to 4 points generally for the home team in the odds. That's how the odds makers do it. So they're kind of viewing them as on a neutral field, kind of an even team. I am surprised. This is a team, Oklahoma, that there's a big split from the coaches poll. Oklahoma's 18th in this. They weren't in the coaches poll top 25. So that was something that kind of, when I first saw this, just popped off the page to me. A lot of these teams, there's a few teams that the AP's a little higher on or a little lower. Boise State makes this ranking. They didn't make the other one. But Oklahoma at 18 definitely jumped off the page to me. They're saying it's a pick 'em, really, on a neutral field between Oklahoma and Tennessee. I think right now that's fair. And personally, if you like Tennessee to beat Oklahoma, I would take it now. I think there's a decent chance Oklahoma comes into that game. The way their schedule sets up, they could be 5-2, but they could have wins over 2 or 3 teams, at least 2 teams here in the top 20.
I mean, hell, they can beat Michigan week 1
yes,
or week
exactly.
2.
And that's a top 15 team according to the AP and the coaches poll. So I'm saying they're a team that could be maybe identical records of Tennessee, but that game gets around and it's a pick 'em, or it's a -1 Oklahoma, because Vegas says, okay, well, this team's right. They're power rated above Tennessee. So I wouldn't hate getting on Tennessee now and maybe buy that half point down.
So you would buy Tennessee right now at -3.5.
I think there's a decent chance the odds right now are.
So, but you're
I'm
so
saying,
you're saying
yes,
take Oklahoma
yes,
take Oklahoma at the
sorry.
+3.5, and then maybe
This is the highest I think it will get for Tennessee. I think there's a decent chance that by like week 4, that line's 1.5, 1.
Yeah, sure.
So yes, if you liked Oklahoma, if you like Tennessee, wait until if you waited till late October, I think you're going to be in a better spot.
Yeah. All right, when we come back, it's our best bets of the night presented by VIP Play. Stay right here. It's overtime on Fan Run Radio.
Catch up with all things Fan Run by subscribing to our podcast feed. Like, rate, and download the show from the Fan Run app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, Knoxville. Surfside iced tea and vodka made with real brewed tea is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar with no bubbles and no troubles. That's right, zero carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. Headed to a game day or party at a friend's house? Bring an iced tea or lemonade variety pack from Surfside or try their green tea and new raspberry tea vodka. Find the can with the sunset stripes this season. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sunshine in a can. Must be 21 or older. Enjoy responsibly.
Rickard Ridge Barbecue, located in beautiful Cove Lake State Park. Rickard Ridge is home of the best ribs in the Volunteer State. Smoked daily by Pitmaster Mark Rickard. The barbecue at Rickard Ridge is mouth-watering, fall-off-the-bone delicious. Take the scenic drive up I-75 to exit 134. For directions and to look at the rest of the menu, visit Rickard Ridge online at rickardridgebbq.com.
Airlines have just reduced their prices even more. Book 30 days in advance and save big.
Want the absolute lowest prices on your airline tickets? Then call the Low Cost Airlines Travel Hotline right now. For prices so low, we can't publish them anywhere. The only way to access our low rates and save up to 70% is to call. Save hundreds on your vacation tickets by calling right now. You can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-631-1754. 800-631-1754. 800-631-1754. That's 800-631-1754.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game. Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
Citizens National Bank.
Life is more fun with a Good Life checking account, offering extra benefits including bank travel. Join us for a trip to Mackinac Island for a stay at the beautiful Grand Hotel. Travel with us to southern Utah to witness the enormous, colorful, and unusual rock formations. Or join us on one of our many day trips. We're always on the go.
Citizens National Bank. Banking never felt so good.
Member FDIC.
All right, back here on Overtime, presented by VIP Play. Now time for the best bets of the night, presented by VIP Play. Go claim your VIP Play welcome bonus. When you make your first bet of $5 or more, you'll get $100 instantly in bonus bets by using the code FANRUN. That's FANRUN in all caps to claim those bonus bets. and new and more convenient deposit and withdrawal methods are coming soon. So the next VIP Play app update will continue to upgrade the betting experience. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 years or older and located in Tennessee to bet. We'll swing it over to Max for the final time temporarily for some max out your winnings bets. Max, what you got?
Yeah, going to be off the airways for a little bit, but hopefully it's not the final match their winnings. But we've been on it sucks because we've been so hot lately.
I know.
You know? Like, I'll keep posting pics on Twitter for anyone that wants to follow along. But yeah, another, baseball is all we got tonight. So two overs in the MLB. Actually, both are at the same line, oddly enough. Both start at 7:40. We'll start with the one in Milwaukee first. Pirates Brewers over 8.5. It's Andrew Heaney going for the Buccos versus Jose Quintana. Heaney got off to a really good start of the year, had a sub-3 ERA through like Memorial Day. Since then, it's been really bad. 5.84 ERA in his last 15 starts. Doesn't get any swing and miss either. He's a contact first pitcher in a park like that. That's not a thing you want to do. PNC is much cozier, kind of helps him out. His lone start against Milwaukee this year, he gave up 7 runs and 4 innings of work in Milwaukee as well. So they've best record in baseball. They've been red hot offensively, and they already, back in May, touched up Andrew Heaney. I don't see how now, when this team is clicking even further, they don't do the same. So then it's okay. How many runs can you get from the Pirates? It's 8.5. Can you get 2 or 3 runs from the Pirates tonight? I think you can. Jose Quintana, rock solid. That's a definition of him to me. He's going to give you a 3.5 to 4 ERA, 170 plus innings every year, but not flashy. And he has a 4.91 ERA at home. He's been much better away from Miller Park with a 2.78 ERA. So at home, he struggled a little bit. Brewers also, going back to the Heaney factor, Heaney a lefty, they crush southpaws. So to me, I think Heaney gets lit up again against the Brewers, and then can you get 2 or 3 runs from the Pirates? I think you do tonight. So over 8.5 in Pirates Brewers. Going to go a little southwest of that in the Midwest. We're going to St. Louis. Rockies Cardinals over 8.5. It's Chase Dolander, former Tennessee Vol, versus Miles Mikolas tonight. Combined ERA of those two, 11.79.
Yeesh.
So almost a combined 6 ERA for each of those guys. Not been a good year for Mikolas. Really not MLB caliber pitcher. I've talked about him before on this show. Chase Dolander, he's a rookie. He's a young guy. A lot of those guys struggle. He doesn't have, he pitches at Coors Field, which is the worst place to pitch. Just hasn't found his footing in the big leagues yet. I'm not banking on that to happen tonight against a Cardinals team that's a solid team, above 500. Dolander is better away from home, which is probably why this total is as low as it is for these two pitchers, but still an ERA north of 4 away from home. He's not been effective. He just hasn't been a disaster out away from Coors Field. Rockies offense, you'd think, okay, they play Coors Field, they put up great numbers. They don't, but they do hit right-handed pitching better than league average. It's the one thing they do well. Mikolas, a right-hander, soft-throwing righty, barely gets to 90 miles an hour. And the Cardinals' offenses perform much better at Busch Stadium and against righties, which Dolander, of course, is. So the trends favor this. The line's a little lower because it's not at Coors Field, but both these pitchers have been so bad this year and have a track record of it that I got it back the over here at 8.5. So Rockies, Cardinals over 8.5, Pirates, Brewers over 8.5. Let's go 2-0 tonight.
All right. And then, Tyler, what do you have?
Yeah, I only got one play today. That's the Texas Rangers, -1. They're facing the Arizona Diamondbacks, and the Diamondbacks have been a very, very poor team post-trade deadline. They are coming off a sweep against the Colorado Rockies, but that's not saying a whole lot. This team isn't playing very passionate ball right now. They're 4 games below 500. They're kind of out of the playoff mix, especially with how loaded the NL wildcard race is. But the Rangers, on the other hand, they're really trying to get back. They just got swept in a series against the Philadelphia Phillies. They're on a 4-game losing streak, but they've had it pretty tough. They had to play the Yankees and the Phillies in their last 2 series, 2 very good teams. But for the Rangers today, they have Nathan Eovaldi on the mound. Eovaldi has arguably been, you could argue, he's been the best pitcher in the American League this whole season. He has been stellar. 10-3 record, 1.38 ERA in 111 innings pitched. He has a whip below 1 at 0.84. He's been stellar in all facets of pitching the baseball. He's only given up 5 home runs as well this season. Anytime Nathan Eovaldi is on the mound, I'm extremely confident that the Rangers will pull out a win. This game being at home as well. The Rangers are minus 165 on the money line, but I like what Eovaldi has done this season. The Rangers, they really need a series win here, and there's no better pitcher on your team to lead you to the win in Nathan Eovaldi. Really think this is a good spot here for the Rangers. I'm going to back them, predict them to win by 2 runs or more.
All right, those are the best bets of the night presented by VIP Play. Make sure you're going and claiming your welcome bonus of $100 when you make your first bet of $5 or more. Make sure you're using the code FANRUN. That's FANRUN in all caps to claim those bonus bets. And also, as we were talking about earlier, every single Tennessee football game for the regular season is exclusively on VIP Play. We were talking about that Oklahoma game earlier. Right now, Tennessee minus 3.5. Maybe you like Oklahoma right now, want to get some juice there while you can. You can do that in a lot of different ways with other Tennessee games as well. So keep in mind VIP Play when you are trying to bet Tennessee football, the best place to do it. When we come back in hour number 2, we got plenty to cover, including the AP Top 25. We'll tell you the teams that we believe are too high, too low, just right, or just outside. We'll do a deep dive into that. Also, Shedeur Sanders was pretty damn good on Friday night. We'll talk about his debut for the Browns, and we'll wrap things up. So stay right here on Fan Run Radio. It's Overtime, presented by VIP Play.
Follow us on Twitter or X or whatever they're calling it these days at Fox Sports Knox. Fox Sports Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
Every 40 seconds, a child goes missing somewhere in the U.S. You can help in the effort to find missing kids simply by donating your car or boat to Find the Children, a nonprofit organization dedicated to returning missing children to their families. Find the Children works closely with national and community agencies and organizations and helps distribute flyers and posters that are directly responsible for recovering missing kids. Your car or boat donation helps protect and recover children in every state and community by sponsoring child safety and recovery programs. For fast, free pickup, call anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Running or not, your car, truck, van, RV, or boat will be towed away free of charge. Fast, free pickup, plus it's tax deductible. Everyone wins when you donate your car or boat to Find the Children.
Call right now. 800-466-8813. 800-466-8813. That's 800-466-8813.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria. Blackford Veterinary Surgery Referral specializes in surgeries not regularly performed by your pet's general veterinarian. They're currently accepting referrals from vets all across the country. With their newly renovated state-of-the-art surgery center and highly trained staff, clients can rely on professional and thorough care. If your vet says that your pet needs surgery or rehab, ask for a referral to Blackford Vet and let them get your best friend back on its feet. Located conveniently in West Knoxville. For more information, visit blackfordvetsurgery.com.
Got a problem tree looming over your home? Call ECR Total Landscapes. Whether it's trimming, removal, or storm cleanup, our certified pros get the job done safely and efficiently. We're licensed, insured, and ready 24/7 for emergency calls. Big or small, we cut them all. ECR Total Landscapes. Call now for a free estimate, 865-384-2012, and mention promo code FANRUN for free stump grinding on any tree removal now through the end of the year. Also, visit us at ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Only 3 homestands remaining to see your Knoxville Smokies play this season. And this week will be full of celebrations, starting with free hot dog night on Tuesday. All the hot dogs you can eat all night long. And if you're still hungry, we've got all you can eat Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday with half-off draft beers. Then on Friday, we honor one of the founding members of the Negro Southern League, the Knoxville Giants. On Saturday, we're continuing the fight against breast cancer by painting the park pink. And on Sunday is Cocoa Melon Day. Grab your tickets now at smokiesbaseball.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Hey, Pack Rat. Yeah, you. Are you moving cross country and you just don't know who to call? Call us right now. Listen, you've probably seen one of our containers in your neighborhood, but did you know that we can help you move anywhere in the United States? It's real simple. We'll drop a container off at the location you tell us to bring it to. You pack up your valuable possessions at your leisure. They stay safe right in your home. And when you're ready, call us. We'll come and pick up the container and give you a scheduled date of when your furniture and the other possessions will be at your new home. So if you're moving across country or across town, be a Pack Rat. Join the Pack Rat family. Call Pack Rat right now for your free quote. See y'all later, Pack Rats.
Call 800-965-1298. 800-965-1298. 800-965-1298. That's 800-965-1298.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The buzzer has sounded. We are headed to overtime with William Pattison on Fox Sports Knoxville. This is Fan Run Radio.
Here we go. Hour number 2 on a Monday, live from the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios. It's overtime, presented by VIP Play with Max Pennell and Tyler Barbaras. I'm William Pattison. Great stuff in hour number 1. We'll continue it here in hour number 2. Continuing our conversation on the AP Top 25 that released earlier today, giving us our first glimpse at how the college football season may shake out. Every time these polls are released, there's always some pushback. There's something we disagree with, and there's plenty of that today. As one team, I'm so befound that they continue to get all this respect. They were top 16 was this team. They shouldn't even be ranked. We'll talk about it all here in just a bit. After that, we'll switch over to the NFL. Big story this weekend from the preseason was Shedeur Sanders, dazzled in his debut. Did he do enough to possibly move up the depth chart? But we'll begin this hour number 2 with the AP Top 25. Had a loaded first hour, so we didn't get to cover everything. We'll begin with which teams are too high. And I've got a couple, so I'll let you guys give your opinion first. Just save the number 16 team for me, please.
They're up there for me, so I'll find another. I'll pivot.
But Max, when you look at it, which teams are too high?
Yeah, Michigan at 14 jumps off the page to me. I'm in the same camp with you, but Michigan is one for me. You know, I don't think Sharon Moore's that good of a coach, or you can't assume that yet. Last year was I get it. You know, it was a transition year, all that stuff. They lost a ton from their national championship team, but we've seen most reigning national champs, you know, they're at least a top 25 caliber team. They were not that. I feel like that the taste of the Ohio State win and the Alabama Bowl win is kind of like in the back of people's minds, when really, if you take the first 11 games of their season, they were not a good football team. Sharon Moore, I don't trust that he knows how to figure out the offensive side of the ball. I just think there's way too much respect to a freshman quarterback. I almost said rookie there. Freshman quarterback and a coach that hasn't proven anything at the college level to be 14th coming off of the heels of a 7-5 regular season, way too high for me. Second team I'll go with as well. I think, to me, Texas Tech, I get it. They bought a roster. I got to see that roster on the field. They go out week 1 or week 2, their first Power 5 game, and then they play well. I think you put them in the top 25. This just seems like one of those things we see a lot where team in the NIL, we've seen people just buy a team. Generally, Ohio State was Ohio State, but I think of Texas A&M with Jimbo Fisher, some of these other teams, they don't always work out, and I think they're getting a benefit of the doubt for an offseason and not what was done on the field. I just would like to see them accomplish something on the field before I give them top 25 recognition above some of these other teams like a Tennessee and Boise State who were in the playoff last year. So for me, those are the two that really seem, jumped off the page to me as, man, why are they where they are?
Yeah, and I think there are a couple of teams we'll talk about too that got left out of this list that deserve to maybe fill a couple of those spots. I had Texas Tech at 25 in my rankings. Didn't have a team like Boise State in it, and obviously didn't have this number 16 team on this list either. But Tyler, when you look at this, which teams were too high for you, or what team was too high for you?
Usually I would say Penn State, just because I'm a Penn State hater, but they deserve to be at 2.
Tough to be a hater on this team.
Yeah, really damn good. I love their running back tandem. I think Penn State could be the most dominant team in college football this year if Drew Allar can take that next step. I mean, this is a guy that has been considered a top 3 quarterback in college football coming into this season. I personally wouldn't rank him in the top 3. I don't think that I've seen enough from him yet. He's just been on really, really good teams. However, was a 5-star prospect, was one of the best quarterbacks in his graduating class. If he can pull it all together and be the Drew Allar that a majority of Penn State fans expected them to be, that could definitely see them being the unanimous number 1 team throughout the year. But enough with Penn State. Honestly, William, you're a big Clemson guy, and I didn't understand the hype, but now I do. Okay. I would have had Clemson.
So who's too high?
Yeah.
Oregon, I talked about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, you're low on Oregon.
Probably didn't like Oregon.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
I'd probably, I don't think Alabama at 8, but I just don't see any team that you'd put in front of Alabama. Out of a lot of these teams in the top 10, they're in the top 10 because obviously, there aren't other teams that are better than them. But yeah, I don't think that these teams are as good as some people think they are. And Alabama is one of those, and Oregon is one of those.
I don't love those teams, but there's no one else that's better than them.
It's like, what can you do? Put Michigan up there?
I'd push back on one of these. I think Miami at 10 is a little high.
Right, I left that one on a tee for someone to take it. I said that before that they were my most overrated team a week or 2 ago.
Yeah.
Not a fan of Miami.
Miami at 10 seems like a ratings boost.
You're the number 1 pick last year and you couldn't even make the ACC title game, but Carson Beck is gonna do way better than Cam Moore did. No, thank you. Mario Cristobal, win a big game one time, and then I'll believe in you.
Carson Beck got some ink this summer too. He's got 2 sleeves now, and he's working on a leg sleeve. But Arizona State is a top.
Save that money instead of spending on that because he's not going to have a pro career.
God. Top 10, Arizona State is a top 10 team. And I think Miami loses a ton offensively. You've got an experienced running back room, but they weren't starters last year behind Damian Martinez. You've got a couple of wide receivers like a Josiah Trader, but he wasn't the focal point last year. They've got a couple of interesting. My original consistency on the Miami receivers were it's not going to be as good as last year. Now, since I put that out there, a bunch of Miami fans were like, you don't know what you're talking about. This is a good group. And maybe they are good. I like Keelan Marion from BYU, but replacing a Xavier Restrepo is going to be a lot. Defensively, they've got
the number 1 pick.
Yeah. Well, they had the number 1 pick and they weren't even able to make the ACC championship. So I think that's tough to go into this season and say, oh, this is going to be a top 10 team when they were a top 10 team last year and couldn't even make the conference championship. I think Arizona State's a much better team. I think defensively they're better from top to bottom. I think they've got a better quarterback and Sam Levitt. I think they've got a better receiving core.
Better coach.
Yeah. So Arizona State would be a team that I think would replace Miami. But my overall too high, I mean, I know SMU's got country club connections and all, Bentleys and cars. I don't know what they're giving the AP voters. But, man, SMU is nowhere near the 16th best team in the country. SMU is not a top 25 team, folks. At the end of this season, SMU will not be in the top 25. They will have 4 losses. We did them a week ago. They will not beat Miami. I don't care if they stripe out the shoe or whatever they call it. They're not beating Miami, even though I think Miami is overrated. They're not beating Louisville. They're not beating a Baylor. This is going to be a 4-loss team. Like, TCU's not a give me either. There are a couple of those games on that schedule. Like,
I agree with you.
Kevin Jennings was good until he played some good teams.
Exactly.
And SMU was good until they started playing some good teams. They got a tougher ACC schedule this year. Louisville will be a tough game. Miami will be a tough game. Baylor is a top 25 team in my eyes. I don't think they'll beat them. So SMU at 16, I thought was an abomination, way too high on my list. And I did not even have SMU ranked. But I guess if you made the college football playoff last year and you have a starting quarterback returning and a couple of offensive pieces coming back, maybe rank them again. But they lose a ton of defense. Like, their whole defense, most of their defensive line, at least front 7, were gone. They lost a couple of really key contributors defensively. And those were transfers from power level schools. And they did a really good job of that last offseason, adding guys from like a Georgia or an Alabama, just power level teams, and putting them in. And they were good. But when the bright lights came on and you had to start playing some really good teams, it didn't work out. So SMU, way too high for me. Everything else I kind of align with. And I guess we'll segue now into too low. I had Indiana at 15. I think Indiana's a little bit down the list here. I think Indiana's a better team than Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Kansas State. Fernando Mendoza, I think, is going to be a really strong quarterback this year. They returned a lot of key contributors from that defense last year, Mo Kamara being one of them, a big, beefy guy up front. That was an all-conference player last season. I think Indiana was too low. And I think this is the first time ever the national champion has been the 4th best team heading into the year. Clemson's too low. Clemson's the best team in the country. So I'm going to continue to die on that hill. But I think Clemson has the best quarterback, a top 3 wide receiver room, one of the best defensive players in the country in TJ Parker. They've got a really good secondary, Ashton Hampton, and then Avion Terrell. Very, very solid team. And Dabo Swinney's won it before. So Clemson's too low. And they're number 4. Indiana too low as well. Max, your 2 low teams.
Yeah, Indiana. We're on the same wavelength here, because for me, Indiana as well. Were they a little overinflated last year? Probably so. But Mendoza is an upgrade, I think, from what they had at the quarterback position last year. And by year's end, Rourke was a shell of what he was due to injury. The schedule's the schedule, but to me, Indiana is a team like them and SMU had similar seasons last year. They're much better than SMU. I'd put them above like a Kansas State, in some of these teams. I think a team for me, Clemson, I agree with you as well. There's none that other than Indiana that really are like egregious to me. I guess one that I think has the potential, I'm not saying right now preseason they should be top 10, but I think both Florida and Oklahoma have the highest chance of someone not in the top 12, let's say, to be in the college football playoff field, not via auto bid versus a, at-large bid. Because I think both those teams have the talent of a Miami, Arizona State, maybe better talent. Really like Mateer. Lagway is very good. And I just think there's a chance for both those teams to kind of take that jump from 7-5 to 9-3, 10-2 in the SEC, which guarantees you a berth. So those are 2 teams. I'm not saying they're too low at this present moment, but do not be surprised if one of those 2 teams is in the college football playoff and a top 10 team come December.
Yeah, I think Florida's another good one. Now, a lot of people around here don't want to hear that, but, I always give my opinion, what I believe, and I believe Florida is a good team. I believe DJ Lagway is going to be one of the top quarterbacks in college football. So, I think it's totally fair to look at that. Want to also tie in real quick the VIP play odds. to win the college football playoff. Ohio State right now with the best odds. They're number 3 on today's list. Penn State at number 2 at plus 600. Texas plus 650. 19 out of the last 21 number 1 teams in the AP poll have not won the national title. Not a good sign for Texas, who's trying to break the streak of making it to the semifinal game, but not advancing any further. The Clemson Tigers, the team I told you that I'm really high on, they're at plus 1,000. And those are the 6th best odds behind Alabama and Georgia. But the highest, lowest ranked team that kind of exceeds where they are on this AP poll list, Texas A&M at plus 2,500 is at number 9 on this list. Michigan to follow. But Texas A&M in terms of the VIP play odds,
underranked.
Plus 2,500, severely underranked. And I think that's a little bit surprising.
Me as well.
I mean, SEC's got a tough schedule. And Texas A&M is one of those teams where I'm like, someone's got to lose.
Yes,
and it could be them.
Exactly.
And it could be them. And it could be South Carolina.
It's a great way
Florida.
to put it. Great way to put it. There's Oklahoma. There's these teams from South Carolina to Tennessee and 13 to 24. I agree with you. They could be a good team and be 7-5 or 8-4 and not sniff the playoff.
Yeah.
And it's just because the league and the schedule. Like I remember looking at A&M's schedule, and it's like they play at Arkansas in either early November, late, and I'm like, that could be a loss.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't hate A&M. It's just like you're going on the road in the SEC. Arkansas is not a bottom dweller. There'll be a 5 to 7 win team.
Yeah.
That could be a loss, and they're still a good team. So you're right about the league.
An interesting trend from last year that I'm interested about this year is I felt like every weekend there was a ranked team going on the road that was going to get upset. And on paper, they might have been better, but the ranked versus ranked environment on the road almost always went to the home team, outside of like Texas when they traveled to A&M. And that was an interesting game.
Notre Dame and A&M.
Yeah, Notre Dame and A&M.
Kyle Field just didn't bring the juice.
Yeah, I don't know. And Texas A&M on that list. Someone's got to lose. It could be them again this year. But one of my favorite, betting models last year was just kind of backing the home team at a kind of the 3.5 to 4.5 points, whatever it may be, because you just have to value that road environment, that home environment. But we'll switch back to this AP top 25. Which unranked team should be in the top 25? Baylor is the only team that I had in my top 25 that was not listed today. I believe Baylor is severely underrated here. Sawyer Robertson is a top 10 quarterback, in my opinion. Cam Williams, a former walk-on, had 10 touchdowns at wide receiver last season for the Bears. They've got a good running back group, even though Pendergrass just got ruled out for the season yesterday. It's a tough hit for them. But they do have another – it's slipping my mind right now, but their starter from last year is still back, and he was really productive. I think this is a big year for Baylor because there are some expectations. They've got one of the best offensive lines in the Big 12. They've got a top 10 level quarterback. They've got a go-to weapon. They've got a manageable schedule. I think Baylor could very well play for the Big 12 championship this season. And if that is true, that is without a doubt a top 20 team. So I believe Baylor should have been ranked. They were not ranked in the AP top 25. Max, I know you got a couple of teams on this list that you might consider being ranked. Oh, I also had Auburn, by the way. Auburn was another team I had ranked that did not make this list. I believe Auburn obviously has a lot of things to figure out under Hugh Freeze. Jackson Arnold was a little bit of a disaster last year, but the wide receiver room is really, really good. From Coleman to Singleton, I mean, that's going to be a really strong duo. If you can at least get Arnold just to get the ball out accurately and get it to those playmakers, I think Auburn will have success. I had the Tigers as a top 25 team. They were not listed either. So Baylor and Auburn, my two teams that I would have had in the top 25. Max, which teams for you did not make the cut, but you believe should?
Louisville, I'll keep pounding this drum all off season. I think Jeff Brom's track record, he's won 9+ games the first 2 years there. Go look what he did at Purdue, and look what Purdue did 5 years before him and what they've done since he left town. Guy can coach. He's had 2 transfer quarterbacks the first 2 years. Both he turned into NFL players. Jack Plummer's on a third string quarterback, and then Tyler Shook, 25-year-old second-round pick. So he getting Miller Moss and bringing him in, he has a clear track record of success, not just winning games, but also with the transfer quarterback model, kind of the one and done, I guess, if you will. So to me, it's just, okay, he's going to do what he's done the last 2 years. And that's how I feel. He's in a league where you can win, it's easier. We're not talking about an A&M or Oklahoma where it's like, man, they could be a good team. They'd be 7-5. Like Louisville will win 9 games, in my opinion. They're a top 25 team. And some of that is, yes, talent, but also just what Brom has done in his 2 years there and what he's done with this model of bringing in a veteran, older transfer quarterback and getting the most out of them. I think he does it again this year. One other one, and I'm not saying they necessarily should be top 25, but they're buried way down here at the bottom of the receiving votes. And I think they deserve a little more respect. They get clowned a lot. I think Iowa. I mean, Iowa won 8 games last year. They win 8 or more games every single year. Are they pretty? No. But does it matter? At the end of the day, if you're a 9-10 win team, it doesn't matter. Look at Indiana last year. Look at SMU. It doesn't matter how you get them or who they come against.
Yeah.
If you win football games. And to me, Iowa, similarly to Louisville, not to the same degree because they can't figure out offense, but they have a clear blueprint of they develop guys extremely well in that program. Look at what Wisconsin's done since they moved on from their coach. And it makes you appreciate what Kirk Ferentz has done there. As ugly as it is on the offensive side of the ball, it makes you want to pull your hair out.
Yeah.
I just think that's a team that every year you can count them winning 8 games. I think this year could possibly be a little better. They bring in a quarterback transfer from South Dakota State, Mark Gronkowski, I think, or Gronowski. I think he is a little more athletic than the last few quarterbacks they've had. Not saying a whole lot, but a little more athletic. They lost a couple guys the draft, but usually they lose a lot more, which kind of tells you why last year's team only won 8 games. But I just think Iowa, I'm not saying they're a top 25 team, but I think they're a team that should be in that first 5 out and not down at, whatever it is, 37th or whatever. Just they do it every year. As ugly as much as you might hate watching them play football, they win 8-9 games pretty much every season in spite of a bad offense. Imagine if one year they just scored like 21 points a game. Who knows?
Yeah. Tyler, one team for you that you believe should not be ranked, or I guess should have been ranked that was not.
Now, I don't necessarily know if they should be ranked like originally in the preseason, but I think this team could be, and that's Nebraska. Matt Rule, just a very good college head coach. They have Dylan Raiola coming back. He's obviously very talented, just hasn't put it all together yet. But they do have 8 starters on their offense returning. 3 of them were transfers coming from the transfer portal. 2 wideouts. You have a left tackle and a right guard. So, this team is very similar to the team that they were last year. Offensively, defensively, a majority of your starters last year are also still here from this year. They only have, 3 guys in their starting depth chart right now marked in as starters that weren't with the team last season. So this is a Nebraska team that looks very similar to the team that they were last year. They've been trending in an upward direction, not saying they've completely, taken the college football landscape by storm, because that's not true by any means. But this is a team that was once, kind of a laughing stock of the Big Ten. You got a big 5-star in Dylan Raiola, and, you start to see the fans actually come to the games. And when I look at this schedule, you start off at Cincinnati, which is pretty tough, but you win that game, and then you have Akron at home and HCU. Don't know what that stands for.
That's Houston Christian.
Houston Christian Huskies, yeah. So if you beat Cincinnati, you can be 3-0 going into week 4 against Michigan at home. This is a team that could possibly be ranked coming into that Michigan matchup, and even if they're not, you win that Michigan game at home, this definitely is a top 25 team. So not saying that they deserve to be in the top 25 right now. I don't see them over a team like a Boise State, like a Tennessee, like a Texas Tech, like an Iowa State, like those teams that, were kind of in those 20s. But this Nebraska team could definitely take a lot of people by surprise. They're fun, they're explosive, and they have a lot of guys returning. That, in my opinion, is a big formula to winning in college football. Continue to, keep that same core around. So Nebraska, but if I were to answer this question the way that you expected me to answer it, it would probably be Baylor. But you already talked about them. Really like Sawyer Robertson. I think this is a team that could really, really compete for the Big 12 trophy.
I thought you were about to go the Colorado route there for a second. I thought
Not Maryland?
Yeah, Maryland
Well,
or Colorado.
You know, Maryland ranked at like 71. They definitely should have been higher than 71. That's for
I
sure.
thought he was about to sell me on Kent State, how they could possibly sneak into the top 25 this year.
You know, respect the MAC, man. MAC dominance right
Action,
here.
baby. I will, just to clarify in Iowa, because obviously I'm sure people are laughing at that. All I'm saying is if they win 8 games every year, and they're usually a top 20, fringe top 25 team, there's more upside to me at the quarterback position than what they've had the last 2-3 years. And if they can get an extra win or two because of that, then they're a bona fide top 25 team. That's how I view them this year.
Gronkowski, what is it?
Gronowski.
Gronowski.
Good Polak name.
Is better than what they've had.
Yes. And if they were winning 8 games, 9 games, like
well, hold on now, Max. Pump the brakes real quick. We've been doing this. So I was on the Chase earlier, and Chase Thomas was doing the same thing here about Iowa. And I said, look, at some point you are what you are. Like if you're an injured player, if you're like a Zion Williamson, you're hurt every year, you're an injured player.
Yes.
If your girlfriend cheats on you, she's a cheater. It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter what she does in her future, she's a cheater. If you're Iowa and you've been so incompetent offensively for so many years in a row, it's really hard for me to believe that this is going to be the year where they flip the script. They had an NFL running back last season, and they were better in the second half of the year numbers-wise. Like they were, I think, 77th overall offensively, which is good for Iowa's terms. Which is good for Iowa's terms.
For them.
But like until they're the level of like you can be a top 40 offense with the defense they have, it's going to be too difficult to beat the good teams in the Big Ten on their schedule. So that's like for me, like Gronowski could be, the next big thing. And the tape I've seen from Iowa over the last couple of days has looked promising, even though I did see today a bobbled snap and then a throwaway, fumble. And that was more Iowa football to me. But until I see it, it's going to be tough for me to believe it. I can get around. I know it's not a bad take, but I've ranked Iowa the last 3 years, and this was the first year I didn't do it. And I was like, I've seen this movie before. Last year I hyped up, man, this offense could be better. They were, yeah. I mean,
now he's up in Johnson City.
Yeah, I've done it over and over again. I'm like, man, this could. I mean, it could be the year. Could be the year, man. If only the Pelicans are healthy with Zion, it could be the year. It's like we do this every year. At some point, you are what you are.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna have a good offense. I just think if the floor for that program is 8-4, if your offense is just marginally better, you're a 9-10 win team. And to me, that means you're a top 25 team. I wasn't even saying they're top 25. I just think they're getting treated like they're Minnesota and they're better than they're not Minnesota.
All right, let's look at their schedule real quick.
It's not bad. The first half is not hard. I mean, Iowa State, that's a coin
Iowa
flip
State
game every year when those teams play.
That is true. Iowa State's a better team on paper, and it's at home, so I'm going to give them the win. They'll beat Albany, UMass, win-win. They're 3-1. Indiana travels.
I got them beating Indiana and Iowa City.
That could be that's a toss-up. Wisconsin on the road. I don't know what Fickle's group's going to look like. Are you going to give them Penn State?
No. But they always play Penn State tough in Iowa City.
They're not
beat
beating
them last time Penn State came there.
They're not beating Oregon. USC on the road.
Oh, Oregon in November. It's going to be like 12 degrees, and they're going to have no idea what hit them.
Oh, come on.
So they're going to look up. They're going to look up. It's gonna
Are
be
you
like
the
13
Iowa
9.
enthusiast
No, I
now?
hate Iowa. I have family that makes me hate Iowa.
Oregon is going to lose to Iowa.
I'm not saying they're going to lose. I was just like stoking the fire a little bit. I'm just saying that game will be closer than what you think it will be. Take Iowa on the
Nebraska and
there.
USC, they'll go 1-1. Those are both on the road.
I don't think they've ever lost to Nebraska since Nebraska joined the Big Ten.
Well, this is probably the best Nebraska team they've had.
We say that every year, too.
Hey, but Matt Rule has some data, though. Year 3.
No, I like
year
Matt Rule.
3,
I
Matt
like
Rule.
Tyler's pick. I think Nebraska could be a sneaky, dark horse playoff contender.
Year 3, Matt Rule, 10 wins at Temple and Baylor. Year 3 for Nebraska with a 5-star quarterback that, tries to mimic Patrick Mahomes. Maybe he'll start playing like him this year. I don't know.
Now we're on to something.
We really just spent 5 minutes on Iowa football.
We did.
We just went back in time.
My condolences.
We just went back in time by 20 years. All right, real quick. 10 SEC teams ranked in the top 25. Texas, Georgia, Alabama, LSU, South Carolina, Florida, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Tennessee. 10 SEC teams ranked in the top 25. What does that show? Well, we're in for another really big year of college football in the SEC. And as we were kind of alluding to earlier, someone's going to have to lose. Like, not all these teams are going to finish top 25 because one of these teams is just going to get battered and bruised and fall through the cracks of the SEC. We saw it last year. Like, Florida started off the year as kind of the punching bag, and then they turned things around. Texas A&M lost that game to Notre Dame, spun around, won a couple of big games, beat LSU, and then kind of struggled and fell into the abyss at the end of the year. South Carolina was kind of the same way. They played that LSU game. That was one of the first ABC primetime games of the year. LSU and South Carolina went back and forth. At the time, we thought LSU was a much better team. And we're like, man, here's a rival of South Carolina. But then they turn around a couple weeks later and just get annihilated by Ole Miss at home. There are going to be those days. There are going to be those off nights. And I just think in the SEC, if you get caught blinking, you could be down double digits in a hurry. And that's how a season can be totally tipped over. So another strong season on the horizon for the SEC. When we come back, we'll switch over to the NFL and talk about some perfect timing. Shedeur Sanders was maybe not flawless in his debut, but man, he did himself some good numbers. He did himself a favor playing the way he did on Friday night. We'll talk about it when we return right here on Overtime, presented by VIP Play on Fan Run Radio.
For the fans, by the fans, this is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Running a business, coaching a team, planning your next big event, you need more than just gear. You need SM Athletics and Logo Solutions. Custom uniforms, branded apparel, promotional products, done right, done fast, and built to show off your brand with pride. From local businesses to high schools to major universities, SM Athletics is trusted by winners. Get real service, get real quality, get noticed. SM Athletics and Logo Solutions, where your brand comes to life.
Visit smathletics.com and let's build something great together.
Believe in family. Believe in your fellow man. Believe in honesty and an honest day's work. We do. We're Farm Bureau Insurance. And we don't just believe in Tennessee. We believe in Tennesseans. Farm Bureau Insurance, Tennessee's insurance company.
This is Baseball VFL Cody Brown. Farm Bureau Insurance is the official insurance for Tennesseans. Believe in me for all of your insurance needs. Give me a call at 865-992-3871.
Attention service members and veterans. Introducing the Griffin Law Firm, your trusted ally in military legal matters. From court martials to benefit claims, at Griffin Law, your mission is their mission. Here's VFL Marshall Griffin.
As a veteran and retired military attorney, I've successfully defended lifelong benefits and helped preserve professional futures. So I know that when you hire a military justice lawyer, you maximize your chance to get relief. With my unique experience, I can advocate for you because there's no military matter that's too big or too small. Let us help you make these critical decisions that could affect the rest of your life. Remain silent. Request counsel. Call Griffin Law.
For a free consultation, call 888-707-4282. That's 888-707-4282. Or just visit griffinlawdefense.com.
Knoxville, mark your calendars. Fan Run Night at the ballpark is back. Join us Wednesday, August 6th at Covenant Health Park as the Knoxville Smokies take on Biloxi and we take over the stands. It's all you can eat night, so make sure to bring your appetite. Plus, we're hooking up the fans with exclusive Fan Run swag giveaways you won't want to miss. Come hang with the Fan Run crew, rep your team, and enjoy a summer night of baseball, food, and fun. Fan Run Night, August 6th. Be there.
Ready to launch your career? Axle Logistics is a leading third-party logistics company where excellence is an energy. With an award-winning culture, Axle proves that positive outcomes come from a positive environment and a work hard, play hard mentality. At Axle, the drive for success is infectious. And with an uncapped commission structure, hard work isn't just noticed, it's rewarded. For those with big goals and even bigger dreams, Axle Logistics is the place to start your career.
Presidents to represent me. I'm out for presidents to represent me.
All right, back here on Overtime on a Monday. We appreciate you hanging out with us, whether it be on the free Fan Run Radio app, 105.7 FM or 1340 AM, or streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, or X. However you may be listening or watching, we do appreciate your time. Now let's switch over to the NFL. But before we do that, let me tell you a little bit more about VIP Play. Go claim your VIP Play welcome bonus. When you make your first bet of $5 or more, you'll get $100 instantly in bonus bets by using the code FANRUN. That's FANRUN in all caps to claim those bonus bets, and new and more convenient deposit and withdrawal methods are coming soon. So the next VIP Play app update will continue to upgrade the betting experience. Gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 years or older and located in Tennessee to bet. Okay, Shedeur Sanders finished 14 of 23 for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns, and what could have been, one of the bigger performances for him in his earlier career, as he was named the 4th string earlier in the week. They signed Tyler Huntley to come play in this preseason game as well. There was a lot of pressure because Joe Flacco's hurt. Deshaun Watson, obviously, you know what he's up to. And then Dylan Gabriel.
Do we know what he's up to?
Well, maybe we don't. Maybe we shouldn't ask. No. Dylan Gabriel also out. So this was Shedeur Sanders' big opportunity. And in all, Sanders piloted the Browns for 10 series. 3 of them ended in touchdowns. The 4th player in the training camp quarterback order was sharp enough throughout his 45 plays to at least look the part and have another opportunity here next week. Neither Sanders nor Coach Kevin Stefanski would address what Sanders' performance might mean for Cleveland's quarterback room after the game, but both seem to be pretty happy with the performance. Sanders said, quote, "I felt like me out there," which I think is really important, that comfortability. And earlier today, the Browns came out with their depth chart heading into the new week. Shedeur Sanders still listed as the 4th best quarterback, but I look at this kind of like an act in like a talent show or something like that, where that's a pretty tough competition to go up against. Okay, you've done your part. You've gone up there on stage. You've played the role well. It was impressive. Now Dylan Gabriel's got to do that. Can he do that? And in terms of did Sanders' performance change my opinion of him? No, it didn't, because it was already positive. Shedeur Sanders was my number 1 quarterback in this year's class. A lot of people laughed. A lot of people said, "William, you're an idiot. Look at Cam Ward. He does this stupid dance. It's a lot more cool than putting up his watch." Keep in mind, Cam Ward was 36 out of 55 eligible quarterbacks for turnover-worthy plays. Shedeur Sanders ranked 3rd. A lot of people told me that he got blackballed for a reason. No GM or coach wants to deal with him. I get it. It's a big media thing. It brings a lot of attention, but for teams like the Browns, Shedeur Sanders could possibly be some positive media, because it might not be about how bad the team is. It will instead be, Shedeur Sanders played well, and it's the most talked about preseason game of the weekend. Shedeur Sanders, to me, everywhere he's been, he's had to elevate those around him. At Jackson State, had to elevate those around him. At Colorado, had to elevate those around him. Keep in mind, that was a 1-win team the year before he got there. Won 4 the second season. Last year, ended up making the Alamo Bowl, which is one of the most respectable bowls remaining outside the college football playoff ones. Everywhere he's been, he's had to elevate those around him. The Browns have one of the worst rosters in the NFL. Who's a guy that can elevate those around him? It's Shedeur Sanders. And I thought he did that on Friday. Had a couple of really good throws, put it in tight positions. I thought he looked comfortable in the pocket outside of a couple of kind of shaky first drives. I thought he really settled in and started playing his football. Had a couple of good scrambles, was able to deliver the ball on time and accurately, never really put it in harm's way. I thought it was a very solid performance. So I get it. It's one preseason game, and now all the Shedeur Sanders people that thought he was going to suck are now saying, well, William, it's a preseason game. Of course he's going to look good. I promise you they would have been the first people to tell you, oh my gosh, look how bad he was. He's never going to make it. So you got to pick a side. I'm continuing to pick the side of I think he could be a starting quarterback. You got to give him an opportunity. My opinion was not changed because it was already positive. Max, what'd you make of it?
I disagree with you. I don't know why you have to pick a side off one preseason game.
Well, I just pick the side of Are you going to be the guy that just hates? I'm talking about the people that, regardless of how Friday night went, they already had their mind made up of how they would react to it. Is either going to be a preseason game or it was going to be, look, this guy can't play. That's what I mean. Like, you're either a fan of him or you're not. You believe him or you don't.
I mean, I in college I'd say was one of the few people that didn't have a strong opinion of him because of how polarizing he was. I just never thought Colorado was that good of a team, so I didn't spend a lot of time watching them, frankly, as much as they were on the television. My team needed a quarterback in the first round this year. I didn't feel he was a guy worth giving up the limited draft capital that the Steelers had to get. Picking at 21, I felt like we did that before with Kenny Pickett. You kind of saw that worked out. Didn't want to go down that road again. Didn't think he was a can't-miss prospect. Didn't think anyone in that class was, frankly. So glad they didn't draft him or any quarterback from that class. My thing is, it's preseason football. You go back, you find any quarterback, you can handpick a preseason game and say, man, this guy was – why did this guy go in the fifth round? Or you go, why was this guy a first-round quarterback? I'll pull one up for you 2-3 years ago. 199 yards, 87% completion percentage, 3 touchdowns, 5 drives, 5 touchdowns. That was Kenny Pickett going into his second year. I completely fell for it. I was like, man, this guy has turned a corner. He had his first year in the NFL. He's going to be a real deal. Like, this is the guy that was promised to us. Obviously, we all know that shook out. He's now competing with Shedeur Sanders for the backup quarterback job, really. I just caution anyone that after one sample size of preseason football, good or bad, jumps to conclusions. It's preseason football. Half the defenses aren't showing you half the coverages, half the schemes they're going to show in the regular season. The offenses also, they're not running the level of detail and intricacy that they'd usually run the regular season on their side of the ball. I caution you because I went through that with Kenny Pickett. I said, man, this guy played 3 awesome preseason games. He's going to tear it up. He did not. Clearly, there's a reason why he's in Cleveland now, because that's where quarterbacks go to die. So Shedeur Sanders, I got to see it in a regular season NFL game before I make any judgment of him. I didn't view him as a can't-miss prospect. I didn't view him as a fifth-round talent. I think he was somewhere in the middle. And until he plays in a game that counts to your record, I'm not going to make sweeping judgments about him.
Tyler.
I think Shedeur proved that he should have gone higher in the draft. And now I'm not saying he should have been a first-round pick, but he didn't play like a fifth-round draft pick. He played like he had more upside and he had more talent than, a Dylan Gabriel, than a Tyler Shuck. Like, he proved that in one preseason game, in 2 quarters, or however long he played. He proved that he should have gone higher. With that being said, I do still have concerns and my doubts as to whether or not he can be an NFL starting level quarterback. I mean, there were plays that he looked really, really good at. Like, his ball placement is fantastic. He's very accurate, which is obviously one of the most important traits to have as a young quarterback, accuracy. So that's why you obviously saw him, being in these headlines, because he could put the ball on the money. But there are certain other aspects of his game that need a lot of work. There was one drive where the Browns went for it, I think on a 4th and 3 from the opposing team's 40. And instead of stepping up in the pocket, he literally just ran around in the backfield for 8 seconds and ended up getting sacked for 20 yards. You're in the NFL now. Defensive ends are probably faster than you. Micah Parsons is faster than you. Max Crosby is probably faster than you. Shedeur's not some absurd athlete, but he's an improviser, which is kind of like what Deshaun Watson in his prime was. But Shedeur's not going to be able to do all these, crazy juke moves, escape moves behind the line, because he's going to get tackled. And we saw that multiple times during his preseason debut. He doesn't process the field quick enough, in my opinion. There are a lot of things I can nitpick here, but I'm doing this because in order for Shedeur to be a good quarterback, a starting level quarterback, he needs to be able to go through his progressions better. He needs to be able to, go in his normal drop back and deliver a ball on a dime instead of trying to escape the pocket. You have to be able to step up into the pocket. And I was looking at all those things. I was impressed with his accuracy because when I did my whole like top 5 quarterback pre-draft analysis, I thought Shedeur had the best accuracy out of any quarterback in the draft, and I knew that was going to translate, and it's looking like it will. But quarterbacks have to have a certain like factor to them where they're decisive, they're smart, they're quick. Shedeur doesn't have that yet. I'm not saying he won't get to that point, but it's like the fact that he's also on the Browns too doesn't make me feel any better about it, because like what Max said, quarterbacks that are Cleveland Browns die there. This is where quarterbacks go to die. So I'm not overly confident that Kevin Stefanski and the rest of that coaching staff can, retool Shedeur's negative aspects of his game and turn them positive, because it doesn't take it's not a snap of your finger and you're just a refined quarterback. It takes time, but I think Shedeur understands where he has to get better. The coaching staff understands that. The next question for me is, will he be able to learn and pick up and improve in those aspects, like the decision-making? If he does, this guy can be a really good quarterback. But if he doesn't, we've seen a lot of quarterbacks that have great arm talent, but they don't have the ability to read and process the field like we see a lot of these elite quarterbacks do. If Shedeur can get to the point to where he can process the field better, I think this guy can be a very good quarterback in the NFL. So for now, we'll just wait and see. But I'm hooked now. I'm invested in this and his story, and I'm honestly rooting for the guy. I want the Browns to be competitive again. So I don't know. I guess I'm Team Shedeur for now.
You want the Browns to be competitive even though they're in your division?
1,000%.
Ew.
I mean, that there's like a 2% chance that they're competitive, but it's fun when AFC North teams are all good.
No.
Why not?
Why would it, if you really hate a team, you want them to be as terrible as they can be every single year?
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is I'm like bored of always having the Browns come to Cleveland. And the thing is, though, is like,
I thought he was about to say, I'm so bored of winning, and I thought he was about to take a dig at you.
No, not that necessarily, but it's like I would like to have a little bit of, doubt if the Ravens are going to be able to go into Cleveland and win. Like there was a time period when they had Baker where it was fun.
Man, I wish Tennessee, I wish South Carolina was a little better. So when we went there, it was more competitive, or it wasn't just a win every time we went to Kroger Field. Wouldn't that be fun?
Come
on. Tyler, you're losing me.
Okay, well, here's my thing, because I'm confident in my team winning regardless of how good the other teams in the division are. If you
just said you wish it wasn't a guaranteed win.
Yeah, exactly.
I want my team to win as many games as possible. I'll read you one real quick before we get to break. 57%, this is a preseason stat line, 57% completion, 213 yards, 1 touchdown, 8.8 yards per completion, 8 rushes, 33 yards, 1 touchdown. Shedeur Sanders was 60% completion, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns. That was Johnny Manziel in his first preseason action. Another guy that people thought really highly of. I'm not saying Shedeur is Johnny Manziel. I'm just saying you can take any preseason sample size and fit your narrative, whether you love him or hate him.
I was so convinced with Johnny Manziel.
Oh, well, I knew that was never going to work, but
I want to believe in it.
I guess my guy that I believed in, and he won a playoff game more than Johnny Manziel did, Tim Tebow.
We don't need to talk about that.
You were a Tim Tebow believer, and when you were
we don't need to talk about that.
Well,
7 years old.
He was one of my idols growing up, so of course I was a believer. I had probably every single Tim Tebow jersey known to man.
Wait, Tebow won a playoff game?
He did.
Against who?
Oh, there you go, Tyler. Very good, Tyler. Tyler put on his thinking cap there. Yes, they beat the Steelers.
Yeah, I wish the Broncos were better. So when we went there in the playoffs, it wasn't just, we'd lose more.
There's a difference, man. There's a massive difference. Yeah, I wish the Cowboys were
that
good.
Was a crazy Tyler. I will say that was not your best statement. You wish that a team that you are rivals against
twice a year.
You wish they were better. That's like Georgia saying, man, I hope Tennessee gets a little bit better soon they start beating us. Like, no, they want to win.
Dude, I appreciate, and I'm not going to go into a whole tangent, but I appreciate the AFC North for when it's competitive.
But they're never competitive. That's part of the AFC North is the Browns.
I know. That's what I want them to be. I think it could be fun. I'm still confident in my team. I think if the Browns were a good team, they had that 2-year stretch when Baker and they were a 10+ win team. It was enjoyable to watch. That's all it was.
That personally, but
I'm not aligning with that one. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know. Like, I just want
I want the Titans to be as bad as possible. I want to beat them by 49 every. I don't care if it's competitive. I just want to watch them lose.
That's if you're a rival. That's generally how you should feel.
I don't know. I guess they don't consider the Browns the Ravens rivals. Doesn't seem like a rivalry.
Well, you're in the same division, though. You see them every
Yeah,
year,
but it's like
twice.
the only rivalry in the AFC North is the Ravens and
That's
the Steelers.
not true. Not true.
Oh, I thought you were about to. I thought you were about to go. No, I thought you were about to say Ravens and Bengals is the only one. I thought you were about to throw another bone to them.
There's no rivalry with Ravens Bengals. Zip zilch.
Is there a rivalry with the Steelers?
1000% dates back.
Who owns it?
Like 25 years. I don't know. I have to look at it. I think the Steelers have like 5 or 6 more wins over the course of the
36
25
and
years.
27.
35 and 27.
36 and 27.
36 are the Steelers.
Yeah, and they're also 3-2 in the playoffs.
Okay.
It's fun. Ravens are like Lamar's like 8-1 against Joe Burrow, so I don't consider that a rivalry.
What's against Mason Rudolph?
I don't know.
I think he's under 500.
Final thoughts on the other side. Stay right here. It's overtime presented by VIP Play on Fan Run Radio.
Congratulations. You found sports radio that doesn't suck. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Barley's has live music on weekends, general team trivia on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., and now live sports trivia courtesy of the Knoxville Trivia Guys every Thursday night upstairs. The game starts at 7 p.m. and is free to play for everyone, so head on down to the Old City and show off your sports knowledge and win gift cards to Barley's. Use those gift cards to buy some delicious food and drinks, and you can take it all in with their wide selection of TVs and indoor projectors. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Hey Knoxville! Surfside iced tea and vodka, made with real brewed tea, is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, with no bubbles and no troubles. That's right, zero carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. Headed to a game day or party at a friend's house? Bring an iced tea or lemonade variety pack from Surfside, or try their green tea and new raspberry tea vodka. Find the can with the sunset stripes this season. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sunshine in a can. Must be 21 or older. Enjoy responsibly.
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Make sure you use the promo code FANRUN to take advantage of their welcome bonus and so they know that we sent you. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-8899-789. Must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee to bet.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires. Just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Hello, is Tina there?
Who's this?
Yeah, this is Vince from the hit reality show Wives Don't Tell. Tina applied for our show to confess that her husband won't go to the doctor to get his erectile dysfunction checked. She said she's ready for a guy that can bring the heat.
All right, what the hell is going on? You know you're talking to her husband right now? Tina!
Well, she wrote the application that her man's performance is questionable. She's basically married to a coffee table. She also said, we live within driving distance to Men's Pro Knoxville, but he's too scared to get a blood test.
Oh my, she is done. She is so done.
Gotcha, Mike. It's Nephew Tommy. Ain't no reality show. It's a prank. Men's Pro Knoxville is the real deal, fellas. Local experts, test results in minutes. Call 865-544-8220 or hit menspronknoxville.com before your lady books a new co-star. Men's Pro Knoxville, making it happen.
All right, final thoughts on this Monday. We appreciate you hanging out with us here on Overtime on Fan Run Radio, presented by VIP Play. If you're a Tennessee football fan out there, make sure you download the VIP Play app, and you can bet exclusively on all 12 regular season games for Tennessee. Whatever game you're thinking of, you can bet on it. So make sure you go check that out. Use code FANRUN. FANRUN in all caps to claim those bonus bets. Gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 years or older. Located in Tennessee to bet. All right, final thoughts today. We'll talk this developing story here in a second, but I will say last Thursday, I went and saw Weapons in theaters. It's the brand new horror film, and not everyone's a horror movie guy. I get it, but it is one of the best horror films I've seen in probably 10 years. And it is so highly rated on Rotten Tomatoes. You would think it's not a horror movie. 96 on Rotten Tomatoes right now. Movies like that horror movies are never that highly rated. So if you haven't gone and seen it yet, go see it immediately. I saw it opening night, one of the best opening night crowds I've ever experienced outside of Avengers Endgame back when I was in like sophomore year of high school. But the crowd was into it, gasps and screams and people jumping. It was awesome. So go check out Weapons. That's my final thoughts for the day. Wrapping it up with this. Developing story out of Tuscaloosa. Alabama has named Ty Simpson the starting quarterback. The fourth-year junior will start for the Crimson Tide this year. And I put a little emphasis on that fourth-year junior, by the way. I'm not a Ty Simpson guy. I think Keelan Russell is the best player or best quarterback in that room. Ty Simpson, keep in mind, 2 years ago was benched for a lacrosse player as they were trying to figure out who their starter was going to be. If it was going to be Jalen Milroe long-term, was it going to be a Simpson? I can't even remember the dude's name. Who was that lacrosse?
Tyler Buckner.
Tyler Buckner. Gosh, bless. Yeah. And he, plays like PLL now, professional lacrosse somewhere. My thing is, look, if you've been at school for 4 years and you still haven't been able to crack the starting lineup or have an opportunity, I get Jalen Milroe was there, but you had an opportunity to replace him and you couldn't do it. You stunk it up against South Florida. Y'all remember that game?
I remember that. In the rain.
And at South Florida, Alabama was down.
It was like 13-10 in
ugly.
The fourth quarter.
And Ty Simpson had his chance against South Florida. That was that 23?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So that was Alex Golish's like first
year. The year they lost to Michigan.
Yeah. I'm not a Ty Simpson guy. Max, what do you make of it?
Yeah. Just to push back on that a little bit, I don't think Ty Simpson's the next great Alabama quarterback, what have you. I will say, I think the current landscape of college football has maybe clouded our judgment, where you look at some of the previous Alabama quarterbacks that were successful, they sat a while. It didn't mean they were like Matt Jones sat for a while. I get it. He sat behind better talent, but still it was like he was a 3-star recruit that then you go, oh, wow, this guy's a Heisman runner-up, or, he was top 3, got sent to New York. And he was a guy that was, man, he couldn't win the job for 3 years. Jake Coker, same way. He won a national championship. I'm not saying Ty Simpson's those guys, but I'm saying you can suck as a sophomore and then be good 2 years later. That happens. It's happened at Alabama. It's happened around the country. I think look at Cade Klubnik. He's a great example of that. He was not very good his first year. Now he's had the starting experience that Simpson hasn't had. But I think writing a guy off for a performance when he was a redshirt sophomore, there's a track record that's not always the case. I don't think he'll be anything special. I think it's kind of a situation of almost like Aguilar here, where it's like, can you just do enough with the pieces around you to find a way to win? We're not expecting you to be an all SEC player. Be interesting to see. I don't buy him as a all SEC caliber quarterback. He's probably in the back half of the top 10 for me, top 12.
Yeah, I can get around that. All right, good stuff. Max, enjoyed having you in studio over the last couple of months. We'll work to get you remotely here.
Yes, sir.
In the coming weeks, but enjoyed having you back on the OT crew. That's going to wrap it up for a Monday edition of Overtime. For Max Pennell and Tyler Barbaras, I'm William Patterson. We'll see you same time tomorrow, right here from 6 to 8 on Fan Run Radio.
Can't get enough Fan Run Radio? Download the free Fan Run app and take the best Tennessee sports conversations with you wherever you go.
Rickard Ridge Barbecue, located in beautiful Cove Lake State Park. Rickard Ridge is home of the best ribs in the volunteer state. Smoked daily by Pitmaster Mark Rickard. The barbecue at Rickard Ridge is mouth-watering, fall-off-the-bone delicious. Take the scenic drive up I-75 to exit 134. For directions and to look at the rest of the menu, visit Rickard Ridge online at rickardridgebbq.com.